What's up? What's up? Couch Hustler, the Couch Hustler. So you can see I got one of my newer shirts that I've made, the Couch Hustler Instagram logo. Pretty much any time that I got in any kind of business venture or whatever, I put it on a t-shirt. I mean, I literally have thousands of t-shirts, and each shirt has one of my businesses that I've had on it. But I used to only have the I Buy Houses ones, but now I got this too. So anyways, deal number 10, Snow Creek. 11118 Snow Creek. 11118 Snow Creek. Pretty nice house. Pretty nice area. It was my first deal where the payment was like $2,300 a month. $2,300 a month. So I was kind of nervous about that, right? It was like my first one where I was jumping in the 2000s for the mortgage payments to take over. So I was kind of nervous. Got a partner on it, and it was my sister, which is awesome. So we partnered on it 50-50. I told her, hey, do you want to partner on this deal with me? We split everything down the middle, whatever the costs are. I'll manage everything. It's pretty easy because she's a police officer, so she's always busy, and she doesn't live in the Bakersfield. She lived out of town. So she pretty much let me just take control of everything, and I just kind of told her how much everything cost. But we won right away on this one. I think we only made like one payment, two payments, and put a lease option tenant buyer in there right away. First person in there was $18,000 down. And they were only in there for like 3 months. It was crazy. I don't know what happened. They just sold their property. I remember them calling me because I put an ad on Craigslist with the rent-to-own or whatever, and they just sold their property. And they wanted to find another house, and they were living in an okay area of Bakersfield, kind of an older community over here. And they seen where this one was at in Snow Creek, and it was a very nice area. I mean, it's considered one of the nicer areas here in Bakersfield, Rosedale area. And I remember them saying actually that they couldn't believe that they were going to be able to buy in that area. And anyways, they did the deal. They gave me the $18,000 down. They moved in there, and I don't think they always got along very well as a couple. It seemed like they were very argumentative all the time. I think that's how you say it. And they fought a lot. And anyways, they got into the property, and let me go back. Let's go back to how I got the property. I completely forgot. I just started thinking about the two lease option tenants. Anyways, so when I picked up the property, it was an easy deal. It was a reference again. I was a realtor on a deal, and it was his friend. So I sold this guy's house as a realtor, and he just called me and told me his buddy wanted to sell his house, and I did the regular old listing appointment to go sell his house as a realtor. And he just moved out of the property to another city. I think he moved up north. He was a physician of some sort, so he just didn't want to deal with the property. He didn't want to deal with rental anymore, and basically just deeded it to me. I asked him, hey, just give me the deed. I'll take it over. That's how I got it. So it was actually a really easy transaction. He just didn't want to deal with the property. He had the money. He could have afforded it. It wasn't anything like where I don't think he was in a desperate situation. It was just kind of like a quick fix. And he was, because I got reference or referral from another person that he trusted, it was an easy no-brainer for him to make the decision and just go with it with me. So he did the deal. It was quick. I remember it was a quick deal. We took it to escrow and everything. Anyways, that's how I got that one. It was just a reference from somebody else that I knew from being a realtor and represented as a realtor. Anyways, going back to the lease option guy. Put 18 down. Him and his wife got into it, or they seemed like they got into it, within like 2 to 3 months. I remember them calling me and asking me to come back and talk to them and see if I'd work out a deal with them, or if there was any way they can back out. Basically, they didn't want to do they couldn't afford it, or I guess they didn't want to live together anymore. But they didn't want to do the deal anymore. And I told them no. I mean, it's basically a done deal. It's just like buying a car. Once you sign an agreement with a car and you put money down and you make payments, that's it. You have to make the payments, or do your best to figure out what you're going to do with the property, or refinance. I don't know why they got into the deal, especially if they are people that knew that they weren't going to have a future together. Why would they go and buy a property or another property together? But anyways, they ended up walking away from the property. They actually cleaned it and everything. It was really surprising, because a lot of people sometimes, especially if you have to go through like an eviction, I didn't go through eviction with them. They actually handed the keys over. It was an easy deal back. Most of the time they kind of not trash the place, but they leave a lot of stuff there, or don't really take care of it. But I did get a call from a family member on the wife's side one time, and I remember them asking me like, hey, what happened here, and how come they're losing their money? And I was like, well, I always give the same example. It's just like when you buy a car. You put money down on a car and you stop making payments, what happens? Yes, the bank repos your vehicle or whatever. It's the same exact scenario. I'm not doing anything different. Anyways, I remember his comment was that I made out like a bandit. That's what he said. I made out like a bandit. And I was like, well, I mean, deal was a deal. They got into the property, 18,000 down. They made maybe 2 or 3 months payments, and after 3 months they decided they want to back out of the deal. No, that's just not how it works, man. And I'm not in the business to I'm not in the business to make anybody lose or for people to lose their deposits or whatever, their down payments. But I got to think also in my future too. It's a business. But in the other end, if the property goes up 100,000 in value, I lose that. I can only sell it to them for the contract price. So if I sell it to them for $100,000 and the property goes valued at $200,000, I can only get $100,000. They get that equity, not me, because they locked it in. So it swings both ways, and I actually lost $180,000 on a deal, technically, because that's what happens on a different deal, which I'll go into later when I come across it. So anyways, that's how that one went. Number 10. So I got the property back. Then I ended up putting another guy in there, and second lease optioner, 20,000 down. He actually got a loan. He was there for about 3 or 4 years. He got a loan, paid it off. Really nice guy. I think he tried to buy another one off of me too one time during that same process, during the same time frame. He tried to buy that one off of me. Matter of fact, I think the one on Bernard, the lease option guy on Bernard, I think that's how I got him. Was from this guy on Snow Creek. It was like a reference from him, and that's how I picked him up. But anyways, we ended up closing that one out, my sister and I. So in the beginning, we made 18,000 right away from the down payment. Split that. Then we made another 20,000 from the second person. We split that, and then when we actually sold the property out, cashed out, I think we cleared like 50,000, 60,000, and split that. So I think she did pretty well, for not having to really do too much and me manage everything and make sure all the payments were getting made every month, and having to deal with the people whenever it was time for them to leave, and not an eviction, but a walkout, whatever you want to call it, a cash for key back. So anyways, that's what that one was. 1118 Snow Creek. You could take them over. That's what I did on that one. That was deal number 10. On to the next.